Tonight on Global TV News Prime, President Tinubu seeks designation of resources, theft and illegal mining as international crime. In Business, House of Representatives on fire probe into arbitrary bank deductions, demand CBN action. And on the foreign scene, United States decries resolution of peace deal between Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda. In sports, World Cup qualifiers, Nigeria trashes Benin Republic. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to the News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. President Bola Tinubu has urged West African leaders to push for the designation of resource theft, illegal mining, and mineral smuggling as international crime, saying such acts have become grave threat to regional peace, stability, and development, represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume. The President made the call in Abuja while declaring open the annual general meeting of the Network of National Anti-Corruption Institutions in West Africa. He said the proceeds of such theft not only deprive citizens of development benefit, but also fund insecurity, the proliferation of small arms and light weapons, banditry, and kidnapping across the region. President Bola Tinubu has forwarded the name of Professor Joash Amopitan to the Senate for approval as the chairman of Independent National Electoral Commission, that is INEC. National Assembly correspondent Topsy Gimba has details.
Tinubu's correspondence was read on the floor by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio. Professor Amopitan's name was forwarded to the Senate in line with Section 154, Subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. The nomination was referred to the Committee of the Whole to screen and approve the appointment of Professor Amopitan as INEC chairman.
In accordance with the provisions of Section 154, Subsection 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, I am pleased to present for confirmation by the Senate the appointment of Professor Joash Amopitan, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, as chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC.
President Tinubu, in another request through a different letter, sought confirmation of the Senate for the appointments of Ayo Omidiron as new executive chairman of the Federal Character Commission, FCC, and 28 others as federal commissioners.
President of the Senate, distinguished SP, confirmation of appointment of chairman and commissioners of the Federal Character Commission. In accordance with the provisions of Section 154, Subsection 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, I am pleased to present for confirmation by the Senate the underlisted 39 names of nominees, as one as a chairman and others as commissioners of Federal Character Commission, FCC, as follows.
In another development, Senator Semela Dahoga Kaila has formally left the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to join the All Progressives Congress, APC. President of the Senate, Akpabio, announcing the move on the Senate floor, said Senator Kaila's decision follows thorough consultations with political allies and constituents in Bauchi North Central. Akpabio also noted that Senator Kaila cited internal crises and loss of strategic direction within the PDP as key factors limiting his ability to serve effectively under the party's platform.
In the welfare of my people, I have found it necessary to realign my political engagements with a more progressive platform that embodies good governance, unity, progress, growth, and discipline in the governance of our country. Consequently, I have chosen to join the All Progressives Congress, APC, and to lend my full commitment to the implementation of the renewed hope agenda of His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, DCFR.
The Senate, after adopting the prayers of the motion sponsored by Senator Aniakan on the urgent dehumanization of Nigerians in Libya, the Senate went into a closed-door session. Topsy Gimba reporting for Global Television News.
Meanwhile, the Senate has mandated the federal government to renegotiate with the Libyan government. The Nigerian women who have been sexually abused and given birth in the North African nation's prison. This followed a motion of urgent public importance on the need to protect Nigerians of their human rights and abuse in Libya, sponsored by Senator Aniakan Etin-Bassi, Akwa Ibom Northeast. Again, Topsy Gimba reports.
Aniakan Etin-Bassi said over 1,000 Nigerians repatriated from Libya were said to have been tortured, sexually abused, dehumanized, and even involved in organ harvesting. He urged his colleagues to support the motion to protect Nigerians from these abuses in Libya.
The Senate is further aware that Amnesty International, the International Organization of Nigeria, and other credible bodies have documented consistent reports of arbitrary detention, torture, rape, forced labor, and killings of migrants in Libyan detention centers operated by both states and non-state actors.
Senator Anthony Ani Iboinsao, Senator Adams Oshiomhole Edo North, and Senator Victor Ome Anambra Central supported the motion advising Nigerians to avoid illegal migration to war-torn Libya.
Having seconded, with your permission, sir, let me lend my voice to this very important motion. This has been a recurring decimal in our national life.
To advise our people, we are in a free country, nobody needs exit visa to travel. But people should be informed that after the collapse of Gaddafi, Libya is no longer what it used to be. There is no reason why an African will find himself in another African country and he will be so or she treated as if he's not a human being.
Presiding over the plenary, President of the Senate Godswill Akpabio called for amendment to the prayers. Senator Natasha Akpoti-Odeogun, Kogi Central urged the immigration officers and correctional service to liaise with the Libyan authorities to repatriate Nigerian women who have been sexually abused and given birth in Libyan prisons to be repatriated.
This is born out of the fact that numerous Nigerian women who were sex trafficked to Libya and happened to escape the unworthy, unhuman situations were arrested and detained in Nigeria, in the Libyan prisons, and they are being used to satisfy the sexual urges.
The amendment was unanimously adopted, and the motion was referred to the Joint Committee on Foreign Affairs, Judiciary to investigate and report back to the plenary. Topsy Gimba reporting for Global Television News.
The House of Representatives has called for urgent intervention in the lingering dispute between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities, that is ASU. Rising under a motion of urgent public importance, members representing Badagry Federal Constituency, Lagos State, C.C. Wingan, drew the attention of the House to the ongoing disagreement between the federal government and ASU, warning that the impasse poses at the threat to the stability of Nigeria's tertiary education. National Assembly correspondent Anita Patrick reports.
In adopting the motion, the House mandated its leadership, led by Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, to immediately wade into the matter and facilitate a lasting, mutually acceptable resolution between both parties. The House further appealed to the federal government and ASUU to exercise restraint, embrace constructive dialogue, and place the interests of students and national development above all other considerations.
Mandates the leadership of the House, led by the People's Speaker, the Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, to immediately intervene between the federal government and ASUU.
In another development, the House of Representatives is urging key maritime agencies and the Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy on the establishment of the long-awaited Ibom Deep Seaport project. The resolution followed the adoption of a motion jointly sponsored by Uyime Idem and 8 other lawmakers from Akwa Ibom State. The House observed that marine trade and the blue economy continue to shape global growth, yet Nigeria, particularly Akwa Ibom, has not fully tapped into maritime potential.
Nigerian Port Authority, NPA, the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, and other relevant agencies to initiate a collaborative framework with the government of Akwa Ibom State for the establishment and realization of the Ibom Deep Sea Port. Also, the House has urged the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development to institutionalize a national database of forfeited assets with mechanism for public tracking and civil society oversight to promote accountability and public trust. This was the resolution of the House under a motion by Jafaru Leko, member representing Bogoro, Das, Tafawa, Balewa Federal Constituency, Bauchi State, on the need for transparent and equitable allocation of forfeited Abuja estate handed over to the Ministry of Housing by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Submit a comprehensive report to the House within 60 days on the proposed use allocation criteria and beneficiary selection for the estate. Meanwhile, the House passed 26 bills for first reading. Anie T. Patrick reporting for Global TV.
The Independent National Electoral Commission has reaffirmed its commitment to the credible and inclusive election as it met with leaders of registered political parties in Abuja. The meeting, the third in the Commission quarterly series for the year, focused on ongoing preparations for upcoming polls and the continuous voters registration exercise. Here's Sadia Yakubu's report.
The acting chairman of the commission, May Agbamuche Ubo, said the meeting provides an avenue for regular engagement between INEC and political stakeholders to strengthen Nigeria's electoral process, while reviewing activities carried out so far in 2025, including the by-elections conducted across 12 states in August and preparations for the Anambra governorship election slated for November 8, 2025. The acting chairman pledged INEC's commitment to transparency, adding that weekly updates on voter registration figures are published on the Commission's website.
The Commission is committed to keeping strictly to the remaining activities as detailed in the timetable and schedule of activities. Political parties are therefore called upon to be mindful of the last day for campaigns and keep strictly to it. The Commission has been working assiduously and making arrangements for the successful conduct of the Anambra State governorship election.
On his part, the national chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, Dr. Yusuf Mamman, stressed the need for political leaders to work together in deepening democratic governance. Taylor reaffirmed IPAC's commitment to partnering with INEC in promoting peaceful, credible elections and fostering political stability across the country.
The success of the off-cycle election, this off-cycle election will set the stage for the upcoming elections in 2026, including the Federal Capital Territory Area Council polls, Osun and Ekiti State's gubernatorial elections, and the decisive 2027 general election. INEC should put its act together and get it right. With the new leadership, citizens' expectations are high, very high. The Commission should justify the confidence the nation reposed in it. This is the only way to rebuild trust in the electoral process and encourage mass participation in future polls.
As Nigeria prepares for the Anambra governorship election and other future polls, the dialogue between INEC and political parties is expected to shape reforms that will further strengthen the credibility of the electoral system. From Abuja, Sadia Yakubu, reporting for Global Television.
Federal Capital Territory Minister Nyesom Wike has assured Nigerians of better days ahead, stating that President Tinubu is working to change the country's narrative for the better. The minister gave the assurance at the official commissioning of the Daki Bio Access Road within the Federal Capital Territory. Kabir Hassan has details.
The newly commissioned Daki Bio Access Road is part of the ongoing efforts by the Federal Capital Territory Administration to improve road networks, enhance connectivity, and ensure free flow of movement within the FCT. The Minister of the FCT at the commissioning ceremony, attended by top government officials and community leaders, reaffirmed the administration commitment to delivering quality projects that will positively impact lives, while emphasizing continuous development under the Federal Capital Territory Administration.
Nigerians will see what they have never seen before. So, all I'm pleading with all of you Nigerians, continue to be patient. We'll get to the promised land. Through Mr. President, it will be a different narrative.
He also highlighted the achievement of President Bola Tinubu's administration in restoring confidence and driving meaningful change across sectors of the economy to national development.
Mr. President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Grand Commander of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, has shown the right leadership. And that is why we're able to achieve. People are talking about the achievements we have made. It's because of the right leadership.
With several completed and ongoing projects across the territory, Wike assured that the federal government remains focused on building a better, safer, and more connected capital city for all residents. Kabir Hassan, reporting for Global TV News.
You're watching the live broadcast of News Prime. When News Prime returns, International Monetary Fund to launch World Bank Outlook. Details coming shortly. Plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back from that break. Now let's take you to the world of business, where the House of Representatives has moved to protect Nigerians from what it described as arbitrary and exploitative bank charges imposed by commercial banks across the country. This followed a motion of urgent public importance raised by Shagaya Mukhtar from Kwara State during plenary. The House therefore called on the CBN to set up an efficient and accessible complaint redress mechanism for customers affected by such charges. This report in our subsequent bulletin. Now to the next story, where Nigeria's agricultural sector is set for a major financing boost as the European Union has approved a 190 million euro credit line to expand lending to farmers and agro businesses through Nigerian commercial banks and development finance institutions. Minister of Budget and Economic Planning Special Advisor on Media, Bolaji Adeni, confirmed the development in a statement. The International Monetary Fund, that is IMF, has upgraded Nigeria's economic growth projection, forecasting 3.9% expansion in 2025 and 4.2% in 2026. The revised figure was announced during the launch of the World Economic Outlook 2025 at the ongoing World Bank and IMF annual meeting in Washington, D.C. In its July 2025 update, the IMF has projected Nigeria's growth at 3.4%, but the latest report reflects a 0.5 percentage point increase, signaling renewed confidence in the country's reform-driven economic recovery. Let's now take you to the foreign scene where Madagascar President Andry Rajoelina has dissolved the National Assembly, preempting an opposition-led vote to force him out of office over the island nation's spiraling political crisis. Rajoelina has faced over 2 weeks of deadly street clashes, led largely by young demonstrators, furious with the ruling elite, forcing the 51-year-old leader into hiding. The presidency said in a statement that the decree to dissolve the assembly shall enter into force immediately upon its publication by radio or television broadcast. The United Nations says the agreed ceasefire between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda is not being respected. UN Special Envoy Zwanzia said the international peace effort is commendable and promising, but they have to this day not live up to their promises. He called on countries of the region to resume direct and frank dialogue and to also take all necessary measures to put an end to the war once and for all. At the end of the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres' second term next year approaches, calls are mounting for the world body to finally put a woman in charge. The Costa Rica candidate aspiring to head the United Nations, Rebecca Grispan, says the selection process should be carried out without discrimination against or preferential treatment for women. Uyi Agbomofuegbe reports.
Since its founding in 1945, the United Nations has had no women and only one Latin American at the helm, Peruvian Xavier Perez de Shela, in charge between 1982 and 1991. The names of several prominent women from Latin America and the Caribbean have, however, been floated for the next UN chief. They include former Chilean President and former UN Rights Chief Michelle Bachelet, Prime Minister Mia Mottley of Barbados, and Mexican Environment Minister Alicia Bárcena. Rebecca Grispan, who has been serving as Secretary General of the UN Trade and Development since 30 September 2021, is a Costa Rican economist whose only demand is a process totally devoid of discrimination.
If you look at the women that have been mentioned to be possible candidates for the SG, all of them has wonderful CVs. So you can see, from the cadre that and the group of women and names that have been mentioned, that none of us need any special treatment. What we don't want is discrimination. What this is about is not allowing discrimination, setting the agenda of who will be the next Secretary General.
Grispan, 69, also addressed concerns relating to fears of a trade war following the policy disposition of the United States under the leadership of President Donald Trump.
The fact that we are not yet in a full-fledged trade war, because negotiations are happening, especially between the US and China. We need the US and China to really continue on a negotiated path. If that won't be possible, we will be in a very unstable environment. But if negotiations continue, and instead of a trade war, we have negotiated outcomes, we will be in a much better place.
Whoever emerges the next Secretary General of the United Nations will assume office on January 1, 2027. Uyi Agbomofuegbe, reporting for Global TV News.
Now to the world of sports. The Super Eagles of Nigeria have defeated the Cheetahs of the Benin Republic 4-0 in the decisive 2026 World Cup qualification at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo. Super Eagles striker Victor Osimhen's hat-trick and second-half goal from substitute Frank Onyeka were enough to give Nigeria 3 points against Benin in its quest to qualify for the World Cup. Although the goals were not enough to give Nigeria the qualification ticket as leaders, South Africa secured 3 points by beating Rwanda 3-0, qualifying for the World Cup tournament in the United States of America, Canada, and Mexico in 2026. That's it on Global TV News Prime. As we go, here is a recap of our top stories. President Bola Tinubu has urged West African leaders to push for the designation of resource theft, illegal mining, and mineral smuggling as international crime, saying such acts have become grave threats to regional peace, stability, and development. And in the world of business, the House of Representatives has moved to protect Nigerians from what it described as arbitrary and exploitative bank charges imposed by commercial banks across the country. And on the foreign scene, the United Nations says the agreed ceasefire between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda is not being respected. And finally, from the world of sport, the Super Eagles of Nigeria have defeated the Cheetahs of the Benin Republic 4-0 in the decisive 2026 World Cup qualification at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo. Before we go, a quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @GlobalTVNG. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Thanks for watching.